Hi everyone, I'm Greg, Bioinformatter on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Moxfield, Blue Sky, and Bioinformatter_actual on Threads and Instagram. And I got in my initial shipment of Wilds of Eldraine, Magic the Gathering, and I'm starting with the smallest bit. I just wanted to get a pre-release box as a pre-release kit as a representative. I didn't buy more than one. I'm not actually drafting or anything, so we'll see if I get lucky with the stamped card that the foil stamped card that comes with it. But otherwise, it's some packs. So let's get into it. See what we got here. Um, okay. Ta-da! Good people of Edgewall, come step with my beat past hamlet and cottage and cobblestone street. O'er river and stream, bewitched and beguiled, oh follow me into the wilds. Okay, so we have our they've used box real estate for some punch out counters. And I think on the other side, I don't know what the swirly is supposed to represent. A snail or snake or worm. Yeah, but in context, that probably means something. There's these little, I guess, maybe trigger reminders is what people might use it for. It does look like there's some art inside the box. It's not gonna probably separate nicely, but you'll get the idea. Okay. Ripped off a little bit of it, but okay, so there's the planeswalker symbol and a tree. Um, okay, so that's the box. Now there's the inner box. Okay. So we have our spin down counter. So black and purple is the version I got. And there is the set symbol for Wilds of Eldraine. So that's my spin down counter. Then we have Know Your Role. Okay, so roles are a new mechanic. So Young Hero, Sorcerer, Royal, Wicked, Monster, and Cursed. And my understanding is that their aura, token aura enchantments. So, and you can only have one on a creature at a time, I believe. So I'll find out more when I actually give this a try. And then they got telling you how to build a pre-release deck. Okay. I believe this showed on screen, so the the first one that tries it gets it. um, and okay, there's On an Adventure. Okay, Gumdrop Poisoner is my stamped card. And I have zero idea of the value of things in this set yet. I really have been not looking at it too closely. I'm ready to be surprised. Let's see what it says here for the On an Adventure. Okay. After an adventure resolves, you may place the exiled card here. You may cast a permanent spell from exile. So this is just like a little landing zone that you can put on your battlefield as to help you organize. Since they're leaning into adventures in this set, there's usually some instant or sorcery that you can cast as the first part, and then it goes into exile, and then it has the permanent side that you can cast from exile. So, okay, I will leave that together. Just another oversized. You can use this as like a separator in your boxes, I guess. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 packs. And their draft. So limits on the fancy stuff you get. Okay, and now, okay, the other side, we are starting from the commons. So we have Rat Out, Quick Study, Savior of the Sleeping, Bestial Bloodline, Voracious Vermin, Barrow Naughty, Minecart Daredevil. So this is the adventures of which we speak. Evolving Wilds, Merry Bards. Okay, our first uncommon, Spellscorn Coven, Knight of Doves. So whenever an enchantment you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying. Disdainful Stroke. So that's a reprint. Feral Encounter is the rare. So look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may exile a creature card from among them, put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. You may cast the exiled card this turn. At the beginning of the next combat phase this turn, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to up to 1 target creature you don't control. Okay. So I forget what they're calling this subset. It's kind of like the Mystical Archives from Strixhaven. This style of card, and this is Garrick's Uprising. So, and we have a swamp and a bird token. So, Aquatic Alchemist, Plunge into Winter, Curse of the Werefox, Sugar Rush, Merfolk Coral Smith, that makes more sense. Ginger Brute, because that definitely fits in with this setting. Witch's Mark, Vantress Transmuter, so another adventure. Scarecrow Guide. Okay, uncommon. Totenfon's Swarm Piper. So whenever Piper or another non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 black rat creature token with this creature can't block. 1 in a black, target attacking rat you control gains Death Touch until end of turn. So Death Touching Rats. Discerning Financier. At the beginning of your upkeep, if your opponent controls more lands than you, create a treasure token. And 2 and a white, choose another player. That player gains control of target creature, target treasure you control, you draw a card. Okay, so that one's a little odd, but it's kind of... if you need to draw a card, you have the opportunity to give someone else the treasure to do it. Royal Treatment. Target creature you control gains hexproof until end of turn. Create a Royal Roll token attached to that creature. And so the Royal Roll gets +1/+1 and has Ward 1. Okay, I've seen a lot about this one. Ariette of the Charmed Apple. Each creature that's enchanted by an aura you control can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of auras you control. So, Enchantress stuff, and it's kind of like made for the role things that are in this set. Intruder Alarm. So, creatures don't untap during their controller's untap step. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, untap all creatures. Swamp. And here's one of the role tokens. So it's the monster and the sorcerer. Okay, rat out again. Beluna's Gatekeeper. Moment of Valor. Toadstool Admirer. Scream Puff. Freeze in Place. Grand Ball Guest. Rhymefur Reindeer. Ruby Daring Tracker. So, haste, and whenever Ruby attacks, while you control a creature with the power of 4 or greater, Ruby gets +2/+2 till end of turn. And you can also tap Ruby to get either red or green. Glass Casket. When it enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls with mana value 3 or less until Glass Casket leaves the battlefield. Stone Splitter Bolt. So it's got Bargain. You may sacrifice an artifact, enchantment, or token as you cast the spell. So Stone Splitter Bolt deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. If the spell was bargained, it deals twice X damage to that permanent instead. Okay. Restless Bivouac. So this is the rare. Restless Bivouac enters the battlefield tapped, and you can use it for red or white. You can pay 1 red and white, and Restless Bivouac becomes a 2/2 red and white Ox creature token until end of turn. It's still a land. Whenever Restless Bivouac attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Okay. Grasp of Fate. So when it enters the battlefield, for each opponent, exile up to one target non-land permanent that player controls until Grasp of Fate leaves the battlefield. Restless Spire is our land in foil. So it enters the battlefield tapped, blue and red until end of turn. Restless Bivouac, Restless Spire becomes a 2/1 blue and red elemental creature with, as long as it's your turn, this creature has first strike, it's still a land. Whenever Restless Spire attacks, scry 1. So we've got this thing of lands becoming creatures and doing stuff. Island. So the full art island. That's pretty nice. And a knight token. Obira's Attendants. Frostbridge Guard. Root Rider Fawn. Hopeless Nightmare. Stormkeld Prowler. Break the Spell. Ratcatcher Trainee. Redtooth Genealogist. Skewer Slinger. Lord Skitter's Butcher. So when Lord Skitter's Butcher enters the battlefield, choose 1. Create a 1/1 black rat creature token with this creature can't block. You may sacrifice another creature. If you do, scry 2, then draw. Creatures you control gain menace until end of turn. Okay. Gadwick's First Duel, so they've got sagas as well. So 1, create a Cursed Roll token, attach it to up to 1 target creature. Scry 2 is the next chapter, and then when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell with mana value 3 or less this turn, copy the spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Shrouded Shepherd. So an adventure with, on the sorcery side, creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 until end of turn. Then this goes in exile, and then you can cast it from exile. For when Shrouded Shepherd enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. 3 Blind Mice as a saga, so create a 1/1 white mouse creature token. Then 2 and 3 are create a token that's a copy of a target token you control. And 4 is creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn. So, and Dragon Mantle. So when Dragon Mantle enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature has red. This creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. And a forest. And an elemental token. Okay. 2 more packs. Quick Study. Frostbridge Guard. Bestial Bloodline. Hopeless Nightmare. Obira's Attendants. Gingerroot. Witch's Mark. Vantress Transmuter. Scarecrow Guide. Archive Dragon. So flying Ward 2, and when Archive Dragon enters the battlefield, scry 2. And this has got Tyler Walpole art on it. Taken by Nightmares. Exile target creature. If you control an enchantment, scry 2. Galvanic Giant. So the instant is draw 4 cards, then discard 2 cards. And then when you exile it, then cast it from exile, it'll come in as the Giant Wizard. And whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, tap target creature and opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. Then there's the Twining Twins. So you can notice that the style is different here in this adventure. So I'm guessing this is, at least they've called it Showcase in the past. So Twining Twins. The instant side is exile target non-token creature. Return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. And then you can get a 4/4 Flying Vigilance Ward 1 Twining Twins as a creature when you cast it from exile. So that was rare. Season of Growth. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. When you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, draw a card. Mountain. And here's that On an Adventure card that we saw in the pack. So just a little landing zone. Okay, the last pack in the pre-release. My only pre-release box. So Stockpiling Celebrant. Spider Food. Not Dead After All. Spell Stutter. Besotted Night. Commune with Nature. Torch the Tower. Snare Master Sprite. Ariette's Whisper. Tattered Ratter. Tattered Ratter is our first uncommon. So Human Peasant, whenever a rat you control becomes blocked, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Oh, here's Greta Sweet Tooth Scourge. So when it enters the battlefield, create a food token. You can do green, sacrifice a food, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature. You can pay 1 and a black, sacrifice a food, you draw a card, and you lose a life. Dream Spoilers. A fairy warlock with flying, and whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, up to 1 target creature an opponent control gets -1/-1 until end of turn. our rare is The End. That's really pretty. The spell costs 2 less to cast if your life total is 5 or less. Exile target creature or planeswalker. Search its controller's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that permanent and exile them. That player shuffles, then draws a card for each card exiled from their hand this way. So that's a bit convoluted and special case. Greater Oromancy. So, other enchantments you control have Shroud. And enchanted creatures you control have Shroud. And that's, I'm betting, going to be a popular art. The anime style kind of thing. Planes. Very nifty looking beast token. Yeah, so that's our, that's what we got from one pre-release pack. I have no idea of value, but at least I know there's been, you know, lots of discussions of Ariete, at least. And some of these, you know, the end is a little weird to me. I don't know. It's like, yes, if someone has used to the commander side of things, so you really only have one of a card unless it's a special thing, like someone's doing a Relentless Rats kind of deal, and then it's kind of mean to hose them by, yeah. So I don't know how I feel about that one. I don't know what the lands are going for. You know, whether these are, you know, I did get a foil rare one. They're usually, you know, those kind of lands are usually worth a little. And yeah. So anyhow, there's some interesting stuff, I think, from these kind of things. I like the art. I got a, you know, that one's a mythic. And that one's a rare. Yeah, so Intruder Alarm and Greater Oromancy, so maybe there's some value there. Anyhow, that's a first little intro to Wilds of Eldraine, Magic the Gathering. I have a bunch of other stuff to open up, so I hope I'll see you around for the next video. Thanks for stopping by.